You want people to feel the urge to move their butts on your music, but you feel that your music lacks this kind of punch, you know? Well, this is because you need to use sidechain compression. In this video, I will explain to you what is sidechain compression and how to apply it to your tracks on the Maschine PLUS. To illustrate this video, I created a basic electronic music with just 3 groups. One for the kick, one for the bass, and one for a synth. In this video, I will explain to you what is a compressor and what it does to the music. I will explain also what is sidechain compression. And finally, I will show you how to apply it to your music. A compressor is just an automatic volume adjuster. If the volume of the input sound coming in a compressor exceeds a certain threshold level, then the compressor will automatically reduce it. The main parameters that you need to set up when using a compressor are the threshold. So the threshold is the volume at which the compressor will start acting. So if the volume goes above the threshold, then the compressor starts reducing the volume. The ratio. So the ratio is how strongly the compressor will reduce the volume. A little bit or a lot, you know? The attack. The attack is how swiftly it gets into action once the volume is above the threshold. Will it immediately cut or will it wait a little bit? What else? We have the release. The release is a good one. When the input volume is above the threshold, the compressor acts, but then it might go under the threshold, so the compressor will stop acting. The release tells you how suddenly this occurs. Will the compressor stop acting immediately when the volume goes underneath the threshold, or will it take more time to do so? Playing the release, you can shape the pumping effect, basically. And then there is the output level. Yeah, because remember, a compressor is not a magic machine, it just reduces the volume from time to time. So the overall volume is decreased. So you need to increase the output level to compensate. And that has quite an interesting effect, because low sounds sound louder, and the louder sounds sound weaker. But on average, the whole volume is louder. You are decreasing the size of the dynamic range. You are compressing the dynamic range. This is why we call it a compressor. And in addition, the softer sounds get a bit closer to the louder ones. So it's kind of, they come closer together, they get glued. The psychoacoustic effect is that you have the impression of a better whole. That's what compression does. And it's often why compression is used on drums too. It kind of glues everything together. Okay, now that you know what compression is, what is sidechain compression? What triggers the attenuation of the volume in normal compression is the volume of the input source itself. But it is possible to trigger that reduction using another source. Many compressors, including the one in the Maschine PLUS, have got a sidechain input. So it is the volume of another source that triggers the compressor on the channel that you want to compress. This idea is very popular when dealing with the low end. You see, bass and kick are kind of on top of each other, and they often play together at the same time, fighting for the same frequency space. The result is a crowded low end which sounds muddy, while instead you want your low end to punch it, That's what makes people want to move. The secret is to trigger a compressor on the bass each time the kick hits. Psychoacoustically, the human ear will not notice that the bass is lowered. It will just feel the punch of the kick, followed by the deep vroom of the bass when it comes back. Let's go practical. Let me show you how to do this on the Maschine PLUS. Finally, in front of the Maschine PLUS. Straightforward, 3 groups, kick, bass, synth. This group is actually for the microphone, so it's not relevant. Okay, the kick. Standard kick. The bass. I think the bass was a sample. Let me check. Yeah, it's a sample, and I added some chorus and flanger just to give it a nice sound, to make it more interesting. The synth. Oh, yes, and the bass. Sorry, and on the bass, I recorded the bass using no repeat and fixed velocity. Very straightforward. And for the synth, I think it was a Maschine preset. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's here. A Maschine preset, and I recorded the pattern manually, I think. Yeah. Voilà, so that's for the sounds. Let's go back on the mixer. What I want to do is to have the bass duck in volume when the kick hits. So I need to sidechain compress the bass and use the kick as a trigger. So let's focus on the bass. I will mute the synth. And I go on the bass group. At the group level, I will add a compressor. So let's play. Not much is going on because I haven't selected the source yet. I'm going to use as the input the kick. So either the kick group or the slot where the kick is located. Let's play. Now I can feel it. Punchy. I can, of course, play with the various parameters we discussed earlier in the video. There was one that was intriguing me. It was a filter parameter. I actually didn't know what it was, so I explored it. I'll reproduce this exploration with you. I started with a low frequency, put it on, and started to play. I hear the pumping. I increase the frequency. Pumping seems to be less, and now it's gone. That made me understand what it was. This filter is applied to the trigger source. Very practical. In our case, not really. But imagine instead of the kick, I would have a full drum loop with hi-hats and the snares. I wouldn't want the hi-hats or the snares to trigger the compressor on the bass. I just want the kick to be triggered. Therefore, they placed here a barrel filter, and you can select a range of frequencies, which will be the only one that will act as a trigger. So in that case, if I have a drum loop with all the elements, I can just select a frequency of the kick around 100, choose the width of the barrel, and then when the drum loop plays, only the kick will trigger the compressor. Very cool feature. Okay, that's it for the bass. Let's check out the synths. So I'm going to mute the bass and unmute the synths. Now, in the synths, well, there's nothing going on. It's a bit boring. I'm going to put a compressor. Still boring, because I didn't choose the input source, which would be, again, like for the bass, the kick. Let's play it now. Ooh, nicer. And I'll play a little bit to increase the pumping. I like it. Let's put the bass on now. There you go. Well, with what I said in this video, I think you have what you need to explore sidechain compression and see what it can do for your music. So if you liked this video, if you learned something, feel free to thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. Oh yes, and if what you learned here allowed you to progress in the development of your music, please leave a comment. Please let me know. This is what really motivates me, right? If I can help other musicians to improve their music, you know what it is. Okay, see you soon. Bye.